Do you want to be a menace to society without consequences? Do you want to play as a species commonly referred to by the community as a duck? Do you want to earn a crown for your achievements? You've come to the right game. Untitled Goose Game provides this, plus a lot more fun gremlin activities that make the town hate you. It's super fun to play and brings out everyone's inner goose. There's also a multiplayer option, so if you want to be menaces together, feel free to do so. I love the to-do list system the game's quests are, and it feels satisfying to complete an area this way. The quests also become increasingly more hilarious the more show up on your to-do list. I've never had more fun terrorizing people than I had when playing as this goose. I do recommend you play this on a controller, since it's way easier to play than with keyboard. Milk Outside a Bag of Milk Outside a Bag of Milk expands on the first Milk game tremendously as a combination of visual novel and a point-and-click game. I stand by what I said about the first game. Take your time with it. Milk 2 is definitely more philosophically dense, and it needs a bit more time to really grasp what's going on. The art style is a lot more detailed than in Milk 1, which gives us a better idea of what Milk Chan's life looks like. The transition between Milk 1 and Milk 2 is seamless, as they play out right after each other. I'd say it's a must-play game if you've also played Milk 1, but definitely play Milk 1 first before you play Milk Outside a Bag of Milk. I promised you all that I would make a second analysis after playing through Milk 2, and that one will show up on my channel at some point during the summer holidays. Rayman Legends is an awesome action platformer which vibes remind me a lot of the Wii game Donkey Kong Country Returns. Unfortunately, it's an older Ubisoft game, so the game needs a bit of help before it can launch by adding in some files you can find online. As a result of this, you can't change the game's language at all. It picks the language of your Windows system. Because the servers are down, the online content no longer functions. I love how much there is to do in the game though. There's the Rayman Legends levels, including some speedrun levels and a few 8-bit variations on the music levels. There's the Rayman Origins levels you get from the scratch cards. There's creatures that generate money every day and a bunch more. I also love all the different heroes you can play as. I like the originality of the scrolls or pages you jump into, as if you jump into a story. I made it my personal mission to free all the teensies, and I'm happy to say that they are now all free to roam this earth. I highly recommend you play this game despite the hassle it is to get the game to run. I also wishlisted Rayman Origins so I can experience even more Rayman later down the line. Arise, A Simple Story is a touching, emotional tale about the life of a man and his wife. Throughout the game, we get to know this old man more and more by finding memories, which are collectibles, that give us a beautiful art piece each. This way, at the end of the game, we have a nice picture book that tells their entire tale. I fell in love with the art style and the cinematic storytelling. It's really well done and beautiful. The time-shifting ability is very fun and unique, and I like that it's implemented in multiple different ways. The only thing I feel like the game could improve on is the controls. Oftentimes they felt clunky and did not function optimally. Mostly this applies to jumping and climbing. Other than that, the game is a masterpiece and you should definitely check it out. If you want to see the full game's lore, which includes the opening cutscene, all of the memories and the ending cutscene, you should check out my video I made. I'll link it down below and in the cards. Dorfromantik is a wonderful puzzle game. It's very relaxing, the art style is super cute, and the gameplay is very addictive. One thing I take slight issue with, but I guess increases game time if you want to 100% the game, is that certain achievements are locked in-game. You can unlock these while puzzling by completing quests with a crown above them. It was quite frustrating at first, since I didn't know about it, and since I had already completed many of the achievements that were still locked in-game for me. If this matters less to you, this is the perfect puzzle game to relax with though. The different biomes help keep the game feel fresh. I especially really enjoy the moving parts of the tiles, like the trains and the boats. It's fun to watch them move throughout the path you made for them. By unlocking more achievements, you will flesh out your tile deck more and more, and also get fun tiles like a beaver dam or forest animals like bears. You also don't have to complete the session in one sitting. You can close the game whenever you want and you'll be put right back in where you left it. If you want, you can also save finished sessions or play in different game modes like creative mode. I highly recommend Dorfromantik. It's a great puzzle game and also works great on the Steam Deck. "20 Small Mazes" is a super fun, free puzzle game and totally different from what I imagined. All of the mazes are very diverse and unique, and I never felt like I was playing the same thing over and over again, and certain maze ideas are things I have never seen before. I love that there are interactable objects all throughout the game, which makes solving puzzles even more challenging and fun. Something very cute I would like to note is that one of the mazes is a drawing made by the developer's child. It's so sweet to play that maze, and I thought it was very charming. All of the mazes are not too difficult to solve, but they aren't too easy either. It's a perfect balance between challenging and relaxing. The only negative thing I found is that there is no music, however, not all games need it. 20 Small Mazes makes for a very entertaining hour of gameplay. Limbo is a difficult puzzle platformer that is all about silent and visual storytelling. I've also played through its counterpart Inside, and I have to say that Limbo's story is a lot more unclear. It follows a similar structure, namely consisting of different chapters and having secrets hidden among them. After finding all these secrets, in this game they're eggs, you unlock the pathway to the secret ending, which you can access through a certain chapter. I won't spoil here which one that is, but there are plenty of good guides out there that can help you with that. The use of silent and visual storytelling is still prominent, but less intricate than how it's done in Inside. Limbo is a generally more minimalistic game, yet has more brutal and gory death animations than Inside. I do think you should play both, since the two stories are believed by the community to be connected. Limbo's controls do feel slightly weird, like jumping feels off, but it's not too big of a deal. The puzzles themselves are challenging, but not too difficult to complete, because the real difficulty lies in finding all the eggs. Inbento is a super adorable puzzle game about a family of cats that make food for each other. There are a bunch of different bentos to make, and as a result there are a lot of different interesting puzzle mechanics. I like the way that they're introduced and that they're not introduced all at once, because even in later chapters you will still find new mechanics. My favorite one is probably the color blocking one, where the game will fill in all blocks with a certain color or food when you place it down. After each chapter, there's a nice cutscene that shows the life of our cute cat family, and there's even a hidden level at the very end of the game. It's a very cozy puzzle game that is harder than it looks at first glance. If you want to see a video of all the photos you collect throughout the game, I highly recommend you watch my video on it. I'll link it down below and in the cards. Murky Divers definitely feels like a crossover between Barotrauma and Lethal Company. I'd say that it's definitely a lot scarier than Lethal Company, but less difficult than Barotrauma. The game just got released and it's quite obvious. There are still a lot of things that need to be added and fixed, for example general UI improvements. I would also like to see some sort of tutorial area. The game is quite difficult in the way that there are a lot of different aspects to the game, like moving the submarine, collecting body parts and shredding them. These actions also have multiple components to them. I'd recommend you play this game with at least 3 players, otherwise you just won't be able to keep up with the amount of things you do around the boat and in the water. I really like the police system though, because it makes the game feel more distinct from the previously mentioned other games. If the game gets a few good, consistent updates, I can see Murky Divers take the internet by storm, just like Lethal Company did in 2023. It's hilarious with friends, the monsters are actually scary, and there is a lot of diversity in the gameplay. Oh Dear is a very silly multiplayer game that is very similar to Prop Hunt, but with a twist. You are either a hunter that is supposed to kill the imposter deer, or you are a deer trying to blend in with its environment in hopes of survival. Be careful to not let your hunger meter run out though, since the hunter will be able to see you walk on 2 legs. Keep eating those mushrooms, kiddo, even though they will alert the hunter of your general direction. Also, watch out for bear traps and mines. They tend to hurt quite a bit. If you're in a pinch and the hunter is about to get you, what do? You shit in their face and run off, of course. When you do win as the deer, this silly game will turn into a horror game for the hunter, as it will be chased by the remaining imposter deer turned wendigos. Will you make it to the cabin in time, or will you be brutally slaughtered by the wendigos? In Steam's last Next Fest, I played a bunch of demos and I made a separate video on them. I highly recommend you watch it to hear my full reviews of these upcoming games. I'll link it down below and in the cards. I'll give you a quick overview of which demos I played. Mind Over Magnet, a super fun platformer game about magnets. Kill Knight, a very smooth and responsive action shooter game. Goblin Cleanup, a hilarious game about cleaning up and rearranging dungeons back to their original state. I Am Your Beast, a first-person shooter game with incredible voice acting. And Caravan Sandwich, an exploration adventure game where your goal is to help your sister. Alright, that's all 10 games I played in June. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to support me, like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Stay safe and have a wonderful rest of your day.